All right, Ms. Conway, I understand that you're not happy with Mr. Truckee as your attorney.
So because I gave him documents when you sent him to the jail. I was in the hospital on the second in the middle of the month. So I wouldn't have failed to appear otherwise. I don't feel good. I've been getting in there. That's why I was like not happy with the way the people were treating me in there in the jail staff and stuff, because you're not supposed to do stuff like that to pregnant people, I don't think.
What would you like to do here today?
I'd like to get out of jail.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Hello, Ross. I'm gonna just change the name of the room here, so I got a surprise for you too.
Oh, great. Not a good thing to hear from a judge.
We've got an extra customer.
Oh,
Elizabeth Conway got picked up on her bench warrants, but I'll see you when you're ready. Anyway, I'll put this back out of sight. I'll see you in a few minutes. I'm gonna try to shut the chat off again. Mr. Truckee, I'm bringing in Miss Conway. She's been AWOL for a while, and we'll get her back on the attorney pretrial docket. No, I'm still double live here. Well, I haven't seen Miss Conway. Stay right where you are.
is she here?
She's at the jail, and Brandy was bringing her up, and I want to free you up. Sometimes on an overnight arrest, the defendants aren't doing real well.
Do you have an information sheet regarding how the arrest was?
I don't know anything at this point. There are 3 cases.
And I've got all 3.
Yes, you do.
Didn't know if there was a new something.
I haven't seen a new charge. Best laid plans and all that. As soon as you get up, they'll bring her in. Hi, what happened to Elizabeth Conway? All right, thank you. Bye. She said it was all Emmett's fault, so I don't know what exactly happened, but if I call, and I've said this a bunch of times, if I call a half an hour in advance and say, hey, it's 2:30 at 3 o'clock, I need to see so-and-so, they always forget because they get caught up in something else. So I just call and say, can I see him right now? I don't know what happened, but some other stuff happened. Ross, why don't you come on up? We'll address this and I'll free you up, and then we'll do our next 2 matters. Appreciate. As the reason I'm doing this with you is I don't know what the status of our public defender is. Ms. Jackson's not here. Mr. Stickley, I think, is still off on a medical leave. So thank you for agreeing to do this.
No problem, Judge. I believe Miss Strong is covering arraignments this week.
Oh, is she? Well, I'm glad she's still with us. I hate to lose Casey Johnson, but he's gonna do a good job with the Kalamazoo Public Defenders.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, there they are.
All right. Good morning, Miss Conway. This is Judge Middleton.
Hi.
Your lawyer, Ross Truckee, is here with me. We need to get these cases back on track. You
Yep.
have 3 charges of retail fraud in the second degree. File 24843 SM alleges a retail fraud in the second degree that allegedly occurred on March 7th of 2024. They got charged in April and you got arrested in June. File 24842 SM is another retail fraud second degree alleged to have occurred on March 18th of 2024. It was filed in April and you got arrested on June 19th. File 24847 SM is a third retail fraud second degree. It allegedly occurred on March 12th, charged in April, and you got arrested on all 3 of these on June 19th. You pled not guilty at your arraignment. We appointed attorney Ross Truckee as your attorney. We have scheduled an attorney pretrial and you didn't show up. I think we tried it on July 5th. We didn't do it on July 5th. We did it on August 2nd. There I go again.
Yeah.
And you didn't show up. I did a 48-hour hold. You called a couple times. You never showed up, and you got picked up this weekend. How did you come to get arrested here last night or the night before?
I got arrested on Friday after I got out of the hospital.
Arrested in what town?
Arrested in Constantine. I just got out of the hospital.
When were you in the hospital?
On the 2nd, when I first went to the hospital on August 2nd.
You went to the hospital.
I called the courthouse and I talked to my lawyer that day too.
Well, what it said is you realized she missed court but didn't mean to. She had a lot going on. I told her she had 48 hours to come to the counter and call her lawyer. And then we waited a few more days and you didn't hear from you. We issued the bench warrant. What hospital were you in?
3 Rivers.
For how long?
I just got out on Friday.
You were in the hospital from August 2nd till?
I've been in there twice one was for physical assault.
One was for what?
A physical assault.
Well, on August 2nd, you didn't mention anything about being in the hospital.
Yeah, I did.
Well, they didn't make a note of it.
Yeah, I did. I told the lawyer. First, I told the courthouse, you guys. Then I got my lawyer's number and I contacted them.
Well, I'm gonna put these back on the schedule. I'm going to set them for September 6th. Judge Pattison has pretrial. Well, we're both gone. We're at the judge conference, so there are no pretrials until September 6th. Mr. Truckee, I'm gonna leave all the bonds at $500. If you can sort out her hospital story, I'm not sure I'd buy it. And I could reconsider the bond conditions. How did you come to get arrested on Friday? They just saw you walking down the street?
No, I was at my residence.
And they came and knocked on the door and arrested you?
No, they came in the yard and arrested me.
All right. Did they charge you with anything else?
No. That's the first time I've been back to my residence.
I thought you were gonna go back to the east side of the state.
What do you mean?
Well, don't you have a family over near Dearborn or someplace?
I have a family in Livingston, I have a family in Constantine. My family's the Bingamans out here.
All right. Right now, I'm not happy the way this went down. You got charged with 3 misdemeanors, punishable by up to a year in jail in court order and short order in March. We appointed a lawyer. You didn't show up. We told you you had to come here to the courthouse more than once. You didn't. And then you got picked up on a warrant. So the bond's gonna stay at $500. Mr. Truckee will follow up with you on the medical stuff, and if he can convince me, I could reconsider the bond. Right now, these are set for pretrial for August 6th at 8:30. That is within 28 days. And Mr. Truckee will be coming out to the jail to see you.
Okay, so you're gonna keep me in?
Okay. Yes, we are. Ross will explore medical information and may ask for bond reduction. I would have set her for this Friday, but we don't have any attorney pretrials until that September 6th date. So thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
4 to 6 weeks later.
We have 3 files to address this morning regarding Elizabeth May Conway. File number 24847 alleges on or about March 12th that you stole property that belonged to Walmart worth more than $200. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $2,000. The allegation was that you took merchandise. Is the right case? And put it in your cart. There's video of it. The next case is 24843SM, another retail fraud at Walmart. They allege that you stole $284 worth of property and took it from the store. They charged that as also retail fraud in the 2nd degree, which is punishable by up to a year in jail. The 3rd count is March 18th. They allege you were at the Walmart store and that you stole, I think, a mattress that was worth more than $200. And that's also charged as a retail fraud in the 3rd degree. That's also on video. You had missed some court dates. There was a bench warrant for your arrest. You got arrested in August, and I had you placed in custody and set the matter for pretrials today on all 3 cases. I understand there's some other things going on here. First of all, Mr. Truckee, was there a plea offer in this case?
There was an offer to 2 counts of 2nd degree retail fraud or 1 count of 1st degree.
Which would be a felony.
Correct.
We offer 2 counts retail fraud, 2nd, which would be concurrent, or 1 count of retail fraud 1st, felony. All right, Ms. Conway, I understand that you're not happy with Mr. Truckee as your attorney.
So like I gave him documents when you sent him to the jail. I was in the hospital on the 2nd and the middle of the month.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I gave him documents when he sent him over to the jail. I was in the hospital on the 2nd and in the middle of the month of August. So I wouldn't have failed to appear otherwise.
All right,
So
but
his job was for you to do an emergency PR bond. He
yes,
didn't do
and
none of it. I said in the
Well,
jail, getting.
he
like,
could
all stuff
have-
happened in the jail.
jumped up and down and screamed and yelled and pleaded on his knees for a PR bond, and I wouldn't have given you one. You have a
Okay.
history of not showing up. You got multiple addresses. on one of these, you said you lived in Goodrich, Michigan. On another one, you said you lived in Pontiac. On another one, you told me you lived in, I don't remember where,
That's a lie.
Westville, Milford,
Oh my
at a
God.
Constantine address, a White Pigeon address, and a Sturgis address. I don't even know where you are. So I wasn't gonna give you a PR bond. You have $1,204 of unpaid other fines and costs, including an open, a drinking driving case, another retail fraud, 2 disturbing the pieces, and allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. You are a mess. And I'm watching you disintegrate before my eyes. I first met you in 2022 or so. And when you came here from the east side. And
I grew up here actually with my mom, the Bingaman family. That's my mom.
Or I guess you told me that
Yes,
before, but
raised in a split family, Conway Bingaman. So yes, I've been growing up on each side,
all right,
Constantine and the east side. So, but I don't appreciate insult because that's the first time I met you was in 2022. Remember I had a baby?
yes.
Yes, I was 6 months.
Well, I'm
pregnant.
not trying to be
Same
unkind.
kind of circumstances going on right now, except for your jail staff. I just had to write a statement to the police on.
All right, but
Okay.
you
And I'm
are,
also a victim of this county right now. The state trooper Bowers on.
well, you are killing yourself.
No, they're trying to, not
Well,
me
all
counting.
right, well, let's back up to these 3 retail fraud charges. They've offered to dismiss one of them if you plead to 2 of them. You've got 28 days in jail. You've got previous fines and costs that you don't have the ability to pay on. I don't know where your address is. All 3 of these things are on video. They recognize you every time you come in the store. On one of them, you allegedly stole a mattress and they found the mattress. So it's not Mr. Truckey's fault that you couldn't get out on a PR bond. That was on me. You're entitled to a PR bond in a misdemeanor case after 28 days. You've been in jail for 28 days. So here's where we are. The irony of this, if you plead not guilty, I have no choice but to let you out of jail. I'm afraid, A, that you'll go into the wind again, and B, that you'll get in more trouble. But if you plead guilty to these charges, I'm going to set everything for sentencing and try to take care of your other cases. What would you like to do here today?
I'd like to get out of jail.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Where will you go?
Probably to a hotel room or go home in Constantine.
At Miller's Mill Road?
Yeah, like I stay at my aunt Brenda's just right next door, most likely.
Well, why did you tell the police you lived in Goodrich or you lived in
I never told
Pontiac?
them I lived in Goodrich. They don't know. I don't know what they're talking about. I lived in Goodrich like 5 years ago. Like 6 years, when they were delivering me a subpoena for a Jacob Roger Turner. They wanted to know where I lived. I lived out in Goodrich then. That was a long time ago. My daughter is almost 2 now. That was a long time ago. I haven't lived in Goodrich in a long time. That's when I moved out of White Pigeon. Remember when I lived in White Pigeon? And
Yes.
I got a disturbing the peace charge and I missed court for that, so I was quite guilty, got out on a PR, or no, whatever it was.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you went out of jail, and I guess I don't have any choice in the matter. But I'm not gonna let you fire your lawyer, because it's not his fault. He's here to represent you on all of these. Now, what the prosecutor may do, I'm not sure, is turn these into a felony. But right now they're misdemeanors and there's a misdemeanor offer. As I said, you're on video in each case. according to the affidavits of probable cause. So at this point, you wish to continue your plea of not guilty?
Yeah,
All right. I do not release Attorney Truckee. He's doing fine here. I have to set a PR bond in each case, whether I like it or not. Actually, I could, for good cause shown, leave you in custody, which would be all these other unpaid fines and costs. But, and even the fact that you habitually don't show up when you're supposed to. There is a escape valve on the 28-day bond rule if the judge finds good cause to leave the bond.
I know when I get out today, I got money I could pay, come right before.
Well, I don't want you to do any of that yet. I want you to hold on to your money. I want you to find a place to live.
Right.
Let me just be frank. There is jail in your future. You've got 3 of these retail fraud charges. They're trying, if you want a trial on each one of them, I guess you can have a trial on each one of them. They're each punishable by up to a year in jail. If you do that, the prosecutor's probably going to turn it into a felony. If we're going to try these, we might as well try just one. But at this point, we'll set a last pretrial and maybe we can resolve it at that time. What I would really like to do is when I do a sentence, resolve all this other stuff. The drinking driving case, allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code, those 2 disturbing the pieces that I let you out of jail, the disorderly person I let you out of jail, the retail fraud from earlier this year, $270. You don't have any money.
Yeah, I paid for I bond out in June. In June, I got a bondsmith, so I paid the guy back for the bondsmith.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you out of jail on all 3 cases and set these for a last pretrial.
Okay.
My prediction is something else is gonna go haywire before I see you next time, but I'm hopeful that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because right now you don't even know where you're going. A hotel, that's not a good option.
Yeah.
You were at the Spartan, you were at the junkie one.
Yeah,
in
they got a lot
Sturgis.
of things they're working on right now. The county is.
But the law says on a misdemeanor case, unless your case is resolved, you have a right to have a PR bond after 28 days, whether I like it or not. So you got a $200 PR bond in each case. You're barred from Walmart. If you go back in the Walmart store, 3 Rivers or Sturgis, I'll put you back in jail with no
Yeah, I
bond.
understand that. I don't go over there anyways, but it's still an illegal trespass, so you're charged with it. If I want to be specifically honest, but I don't go back there just because I was served trespass.
Well, it's a condition of your bond.
When they did meet me in person, it was to do a welfare check on me.
Well, you
My cousin
probably could
Christopher
use a
works there.
welfare check.
I thought Christopher Bingman worked at Walmart. So I'm assuming that I was doing weird stuff in my ear because I got a closed injury.
Yes, I'm concerned about
Okay, yeah, I
you.
understand that. I'm not going. Yeah, you're good.
Will
I haven't been
you-
back anyway.
Will you get reconnected with Pivotal when you get out?
I don't know what Pivotal is.
It's community mental health.
I've never been there out here in the
I thought-
county. The only
Yeah,
time I
it's-
went there was like 8, 10 years ago. They gave me Adderall a long time ago and that was it. I don't go to mental health.
Have you talked to
I got a neurologist. Lisa only talked to just in case I needed to go to a domestic violence shelter or a sexual assault center. That's the only lady I only talked to her briefly for that, but I know I never to call if I needed it. But no, when I tried to Purple House a couple times in Rivers and ignored me, so I was like, I'm about to take these people's jobs out of somewhere. I was like, yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm very concerned about you. I know that you're drug free because I've had you in jail for 28 days.
Well, you already know that anyways. Remember when you apologized to me and I pled guilty a couple of years ago? Because you thought I was on meth or something when I was on dextroamphetamine, which is Adderall.
Well, you were on other
But it wasn't on
amphetamines,
anything. No, I wasn't.
but I'm just concerned about how your demeanor is right now.
I don't feel good. I've been getting in there. That's why I was like, not happy with the way the people were treating me in there. In the jail staff and stuff, because you're not supposed to do stuff like that to pregnant people, I don't think.
All right. I don't have to like this, and I don't, but you're gonna get out on a PR bond. They're gonna take you back to jail, probably give you lunch, and you're gonna be standing on the front steps of the jail.
That's all right. I'll call my mom's cousin, my other cousin lives in Centerville. Do you know what Todd Baum is?
It's a PR bond.
Yeah, no, I said Todd Baum and then live in Centerville. I think I could call, have my mom call them to give me a ride if I need it.
All right. I will see you on, I want you to stay in contact with your lawyer so he knows how to get a hold of you. We're gonna end up with more benchmarks.
The other phone got stolen.
All right, you're good to go.
3 weeks later.
Judge, I need to check with you. Miss Conway is in custody at the jail, wants to be heard on bond.
There's a misdemeanor offer.
Yeah,
She doesn't want that.
well, either way.
I gave her a PR bond last time and she promptly failed to appear, so she's back in jail. So we'll dial her up here in a minute. She wouldn't take the misdemeanor plea because she knew that she was entitled to a PR bond after 28 days. So I was compelled to grant her a PR bond, and then she continued to struggle. Mr. Marvin sent me an email while I've been here, and the offer is attempt R&O and retail fraud second. So
Yeah, one from Oakland County. Oh, I don't know what she's got over there. She's got 2 here. She's got 3 from.
she's also got other stuff. We're gonna need to do a deeper dive.
Was it a second or a second degree?
Shows money in an impaired driving second offense. She's got a false or forged license. She owes money on that. She owes money on disturbing the peace, disorderly person, retail fraud, third civil infraction. She has 3 cases pending last pretrial on October 17th. Those are the ones I let her out on a PR bond. Those are retail fraud second degree, retail fraud second degree, and retail fraud second degree. Today's case alleges resisting, obstructing a police officer.
She stepped up her game.
Well, I don't know. Let's see here.
Is there one retail fraud first degree felony case on her someplace?
I don't see one.
Okay, because I think she got nicked over in Oakland
Well,
County.
she was in Milford, which is Livingston County. Then
Yeah.
she was in Oakland County. She, Macomb County.
I thought somebody authorized a first degree. No, I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Not yet I haven't. I'm sure I'll see it eventually unless she pleads up on it. Was she just wrestling with him? Kick
She
anybody?
weighs as much as your cane.
I know, but didn't she kick anybody?
It took about 2 seconds.
No. She's from Constantine, isn't she?
All right, let's jump in and we'll bring in Elizabeth Conway.
I said, what's a Conway?
I was gonna say, Elizabeth Henway, what's a Henway?
Oh, 4.5 pounds.
That was 2.5 pounds, the way I heard it. I'm sorry, Andy, the same thought flashed through my mind. It tells you what era we're from. All right,
She's still some hair dye.
Ms. Conway, good morning. This is Judge Middleton. Your lawyer, Mr. Truckee, is with us. This is the time for your pre-exam conference in a charge of resisting and obstructing a police officer. It's alleged that on September 16th, that you did resist or obstruct Deputy Detective Jason Oughton from the Sheriff's Department. You're charged as a 4th habitual offender, which makes that punishable, I think, by up to 15 years imprisonment. Mr. Ross Truckee was appointed to represent you in this matter. Mr. Marvin offers attempted resisting and obstructing with no supplementation, meaning it's a 1-year misdemeanor and a 1 count of retail fraud second. Restitution on all.
I was at my house.
All right. Well, you've got 3 retail frauds pending. 241842, 241843, and 241847. There's 3 of them in short order. They're set for last pretrial for August 17th. I let you out on a personal recognizance bond because I had to. You'd been in custody for 28 days. There was a plea offer to resolve all of those. You declined the plea offer, and I gave you a PR bond. In fact, I think you declined the plea offer so you could get a PR bond. Anyway, you got out. Now, shortly after you got out, you got rearrested on this resisting and obstructing charge. Bond is $1,000 cash or surety in that case. The matter is set for a pre-exam conference today. There is an offer to plead to a misdemeanor to resolve that case and 1 misdemeanor to resolve all of your other cases. Mr. Truckee, would you like to talk privately with her in a breakout room?
Yes.
Yes. All right, Ms. Conway, I'm going to open a breakout room. And when you see the button that says join, click on that. Can you see it? And Shorty went. I can't exactly tell what it is she allegedly did in the R&O. There's not any.
Well, Ross says you need to see the video. It lasts all of about 30 seconds.
There's no bond information.
So I guess I'm going down to Dave's office and we'll all stand around and watch the video. Is her issue drugs or mental health?
Yes. And yes. Yeah, she wouldn't leave when directed, which I guess could be resisting, obstructing, and then she pulled away. It ain't much of a resist and obstruct.
Yeah.
All right, we return to Miss Conway, which is the felony file, resisting and obstructing. Had an opportunity to speak with your attorney, Mr. Truckee. Mr. Truckee, what's the situation here?
Ms. Conway, it appears is not accepting the offer today and would like to be heard about the possibilities of a PR bond.
All right, I'm going to set this for a prelim. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000 cash or surety. Generally, I don't rule on a bond until the time of the prelim, but Mr. Truckee, what do you want me to know about bond?
Ms. Conway reports to me several medical concerns that she has for herself, that she feels are going untreated while in custody. For that reason, she requests a bond on her own recognizance so she can seek treatment.
Response, Your Honor.
Yes.
Your Honor, I think the court has let her out on her own recognizance previously, and she's failed to comply with terms and conditions and gotten other violations. And
I'm not sure she can hear you. You're leaned back.
Oh,
and you're not
okay.
speaking very loud.
And secondarily, Your Honor, I think that with the substantial substance abuse issues, maybe she's better off continuing to remain in custody.
All right, Ms. Conway, you've got multiple cases pending, and I'm watching you disintegrate before my eyes. I first met you a couple of years ago when you came down here to St. Joseph County, and you are withering away. You have 3 retail fraud cases pending. Just a minute. You have 3 retail fraud second degrees. which there was an offer to resolve everything, which you declined so you could get a PR bond. I let you out on a PR bond on September 6th. I said, where are you gonna go? And
I got plenty of money to stay at motel rooms.
say that again?
I have plenty of money to stay at motel rooms. Where do you think I was at?
I didn't understand anything you said. Maybe you're more a
I have
reflection of
plenty
me.
of money to stay at motel rooms. Where do you think I was at before I went to my grandma Bingham's house?
Yeah, you're homeless and you're not welcome at Miller's Mill Road, and they told you.
Yes, I am, actually. All I got asked to is to leave for a minute and come back.
Anyway, this is a felony charge with multiple supplementation. You're homeless, you're struggling with, well, you aren't now. I have a home for you, the jail, but the bond is only $1,000 cash or surety. Magistrate came to see me and said, what do I do with this? I'll reserve on your motion for a bond until the time of the prelim.
This is illegal. I can't stand long enough to use your telephone. Medically. So you're telling me you're gonna force me to take a plea deal just to get out of jail?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, you can have a trial on this if you'd like.
I want, so you're telling me if I plead guilty, you're gonna let me out of jail? Okay, let's plead guilty and I'll take your, what do you call that? 30 days, I'll say, hey, guess what? I'm gonna take you back to court. So guess what? I'm gonna plead guilty today and I'm gonna take you back to court in 30 days. How about that?
How about we talk about this next Tuesday at 1 o'clock? I'm not sure that she's competent. See how she's doing after a while. I didn't understand most of what she said.
Like Paul says, he doesn't speak Methanese.
But she's not in a mind right now to enter a plea. So motion for bond reduction is continued until time of prelim. We'll see how she's doing next week, but she is homeless, which is how she got in this situation. She was where she wasn't supposed to be. They kept trying to get her to leave. She wouldn't leave. It wasn't much of a struggle.
Well, isn't one of her trespasses at her grandma's?
Oh, there's a bunch of trespasses and then
At her
the
grandma's
retail
place.
frauds, and she owes money, and yes, she's not doing well. It goes without saying.
1 week later.
Is Miss Conway gonna accept that plea?
Yes.
All right, Ross, after you take him, could you go get Elizabeth Conway?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Miss Conway.
Oh, that's it.
What is actually scheduled for this afternoon is Elizabeth May Conway, file 241681. It's a resisting obstructing a police officer charge. It's alleged to have occurred on September 16th. It's alleged that on or about September 16th, you did resist or obstruct Detective Jason Oughton of the Sheriff's Department as a fourth habitual offender, making this punishable by, I believe, up to 15 years imprisonment. The prosecutor has agreed to dismiss that charge for a plea to attempting to resist or obstruct a police officer. Attempted resisting obstructing is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by a year, up to a year in jail, fine of up to $2,000. I believe you've been in custody in that matter for 22 days. In addition to that, Mr. Truckee represents you on a number of other cases, and they've tried to resolve all of your cases.
Yeah, but I'd like to work on just this one if it's possible.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
I mean, I don't know what 4 time resisting arrest, that's never happened. I've never resisted arrest once.
Say that
I've
again?
never resisted arrest once in my life.
No, it's not a fourth
Oh, it's
resisting
just the
obstruct,
fourth felony?
fourth felony.
Oh, okay, I understand. what
Your
you're
other
saying.
felonies in other counties,
Okay, I thought you were
Oakland,
trying to tell me right
Livingston.
now. That's what
um,
you're trying to say.
No, it's not a fourth offense.
Yeah, 'cause
but-
I take a plea deal just to get out of jail because I got kids. So we have.
All right, now let's talk about your other cases, Ms. Conway. You have 4 retail fraud charges pending. And you and I have discussed these. And we were close to resolving them until you realize if you pled not guilty, I'd have to let you out of jail. So you pled not guilty, and after 28 days, I let you out of jail. And then shortly after that, you got rearrested, and now you've been in jail for 22 days. These retail frauds, there's 5 of them. Retail fraud in the second degree. 24843 allegedly occurred on March 7th of 2024. 24842 SM retail fraud, second degree, March 18th, 2024. 24592 retail fraud, second degree. That's a civil infraction under Three Rivers Ordinance. Retail fraud, second degree, March 12th, 24487 SM. And retail fraud, City of Sturgis, September 15th of 2024. So of those 5 of those, the prosecutor has offered that if you plead to 1 retail fraud second degree, they would dismiss all of the other cases. Some of those are ordinance cases. And I don't, did the Sturgis agree with this? There's 3 retail frauds, 2 retail frauds are Sturgis cases.
So only be one during me calling 911
I don't
or I left the
represent
story.
Ms. Conway
My-
in any of those.
Yeah, all of the cases that I'm aware of are ones that I looked up with my own eyes in their county. So there might be additional Sturgis that I'm not aware of, but I've got 3
Well, there
separate.
are 2 civil infractions. So
Okay,
you have 3 and you'll dismiss 2 if she pleads to 1. Is that
That's
correct? I believe they're all at Walmart.
I believe you were right.
All 3 of my files are.
All right. So the plea offer, Ms. Conway, is you plead to 1 count of attempting to resist or obstruct a police officer, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year in jail, a fine of up to $1,000. And 1 retail fraud, which will dismiss 3 or 2 other retail fraud second degrees. Here, this particular one, you loaded up a cart, put it in a tote, pushed it out of the store, $284 worth of property. And that was alleged to have occurred on March 7th. There were some that preceded that and then some that were after it. So that would be the factual basis for that. Are you willing to plead to those 2 misdemeanor offenses?
Not today. That's when I got crowbar. You guys arrested Cynthia lady, 2 hours arrested her. I got beat with a crowbar during that case.
All right, well, then there's another one. There's 2 more.
About 3 of them, right? That's the 3 of them. And you guys arrested somebody on a possible abduction case. That was me. I was one walking around crutches.
Let's try another one, 842.
Can't do it. And then we were getting beat with a crowbar and all that, and I was in the hospital a few times and I got crowbar report.
All right, this one was alleged to be March 18th at the Walmart
Two
store.
rocks down. Crowbar.
Is this not a judge?
And this one, on the video, you went out to general merchandise stores and you stole $264.88 of property. And they identified you from all the other thefts. And I think you went to Oakland County. Are you willing to plead to that one on March 18th?
No.
All right.
Yeah, I keep saying I'll get time served, but I mean,
All right.
I'm not willing to be not let out of jail today and all that stuff. I'm not willing to transfer to nowhere. I got no warrants right now.
Right.
Trying to keep it at that because if I were to be transferred today, I would be very unfortunate because the main person, there's a couple of people that are supposed to have warrants for the rest of the, and they still have been arrested. A couple of people have been following me to rooms, breaking into my motel room.
All
That's
right.
the main reason why I ended up back at my grandma's Bingaman.
All
So
right.
this
Stop
lawyer
for,
just said some rude stuff about my Catherine Bingaman, my grandma.
all right.
tell me.
Stop for a minute.
That's why I keep asking, hey, PR bond, PR bond.
I let you out on a PR bond and 5 days later you got arrested all over
Yeah, I had
again.
to call my family member Jason to start this. Or
All right.
Sheriff's County. But by the time I ended up going back to Constantine, Carlisle, because he was supposed to be there anyway, had called 911 for no reason.
All right.
And I got
Just,
smashed to the ground. All I got asked to is to leave and come back, and I couldn't because I had people break into my rooms. They're already supposed to be in jail right now.
all right, just stop for a minute. Mr. Marvin, I told you I was writing a comprehensive letter to community mental health regarding the cases that I see in custody that could greatly benefit from mental health services. Ms. Conway is one of them. Your lawyer's trying to get you out of jail. I don't know where you're gonna go. You got caught stealing 5 times in about a month. You were going to enter a plea to one of those charges on a plea agreement until you learned that if you pled not guilty, I'd have to let you out of jail on a 28-day rule. I'd give you a PR bond. So I let you out of jail and those cases were not resolved. Once again, Mr. Marvin agreed to dismiss all the cases if you pled to one. They have you on video 5 times stealing stuff from the Walmart store. And then you have this new resisting and obstructing charge. The offer is to take a plea on the retail fraud charges, give you 28 days in jail, credit 28 days, and plea on the misdemeanor resisting and obstructing charge and get 22 days, credit 22 days, and let you out of jail. But I don't care if you stay in jail because A, you're not willing to admit that you keep stealing all this property, and B, I haven't worked out a plan on what to do with you when you get out of jail. You need some serious mental health treatment. And I was composing a letter to Community Mental Health this morning regarding you and about 8 other people at the jail that could greatly benefit from some services. So this is Mr. Marvin's plea offer. Reduce the felony 4th bench habitual to a misdemeanor and let you out of jail. And dispose of at least 3 retail frauds and let you out of jail. But you have to admit that you did something wrong. I mentioned this the last time I saw you. I've watched you disintegrate before my eyes when you first came back to Constantine and you had a case down there. I've watched you dissipate, get sicker or worse. I don't know if it's methamphetamine or fentanyl or both or mental illness, but I'm watching you go downhill and it's not very pleasant to watch. So your lawyer, Mr. Truckee, tried to convince Mr. Marvin to let you get out of jail today. I don't have a plan. I guess I just lay out. I was working on a plan because you need one. So here's the deal. He will dismiss the habitual offender felony charge punishable by up to 15 years in prison if you plead to 1 misdemeanor count of resisting and obstructing. He will dismiss 2 other retail frauds that he has the authority to dismiss from Meyer or Walmart if you plead to 1. So if you'd like to do that, we can do it now. If you don't wish to do that, we can set these things for further hearing or a trial if we need to.
So what are you trying to say?
So, boy, I don't know if I can make it any clearer. I'm not sure you're competent.
I'm not sure what the case is behind my head because the Terry Kelly family and the Silent Waters and Scott Bell that have been arrested are behind here on the outside of here. Because what they're trying to do is release of their bond of they put on me. But really, one of them raped me in June. So, and they're still not arrested and they're looking for Silent Waters because he cut my bill cord out in September in a motel room out here. Why do you think I'm back in here?
Well, I think you're in here
I
because
think it's a legal attack that you guys are gonna try and judge me behind their racist criticism. Because they were the ones who were hazing me outside of fucking motel rooms. I had to call my cousin Jason, my last cousin Jason Bingham.
Judge, I know nobody wants to be the one to raise competency of my client, but I don't think she can assist in her defense in this case at this point, based on what her statements.
I'm trying to tell you, I would rather prefer work on the first case that we're here for, because my other ones are supposed to be tried out until the 10th, right? What's today's date?
yeah, they're set for a final pretrial. Well, we can do that.
10th. Yeah, like today, what could I plead to right now?
Attempting to resist or obstruct a police
So
officer.
can I leave today if we plead to?
No, I'm gonna leave you in jail. If we resolve all the cases, but I'm not gonna make you promises to try to get you to plead. I couldn't have explained it any more clearly than I did. All you're focused on is getting out of jail. I'm
Yeah, because
focused
your
on,
officers are in here in August teasing me while I'm laying there resting while
all
I'm
right,
pregnant.
well, they're not my officers. They're officers here for the county. They're in the executive branch. I'm in the
All right, so
judicial
I'm gonna
branch.
plead guilty to whatever you're saying to, and you're
Um,
gonna take my plea deal, but I'm not gonna say anything further right now because I'm not gonna be disrespectful. But remember this, do not threaten a Bingaman and talk shit about a Bingaman attorney. Don't talk about my Catherine Ray Bingaman like that again. And I mean it.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah,
Liz?
when you were just out here, you said my grandma Bingaman's very rude. You don't even know her. How dare you?
Your Honor, I know that one of the ways to raise competency is by motion, and it's preferred, but at any time, I know I don't have the rule at my fingertips, but at any time during a proceeding, the court or any attorney for that matter can raise the issue.
you agree with Mr. Truckee?
Yeah, and he already did, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't want her to feel compelled to do something.
All right.
And I don't like to raise this issue in these
Well, I'm
cases.
tempted to raise it myself. Miss Conway, we're gonna have you evaluated for competency to see if you're competent to proceed and assist in your proceedings, whether you're able to
I wouldn't plead
understand.
guilty just to get out of here, but I'm gonna make sure that
Everybody
everybody's
would.
arrested
Somebody,
that's supposed to be. Most of the people you raise in house in the jail is because me and my Bingaman family members put in there. That's why you have people in here, because they are ready for murder charges on the baby that's cut out of my stomach. Or they attempt to murder me and hire gunsmiths to murder me. Or my Bingaman family members. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So I'm gonna plead guilty because I'm taking care of it, because I'm on epileptic and medical medications, not psychiatry medications. So please don't talk to me like that. And when they disguise my paperwork at the hospital, it's because I was assaulted sexually or physically, and I don't want my assailants to attack me. Which is all the people that Sheriff's own Marty should be in here, and all the people have been put in lives in here. So I'm taking plea deal right now, and then we're gonna make sure you guys take that plea deal. And I want to plead guilty to everything, but make sure, I hope you know when you go home and sleep at night, how dare you guys? And I'm pleading guilty. Please
All right.
take my plea deal.
I'm not taking your plea deal. You're gonna be evaluated for competency. So please take Miss Conway back. I'm gonna have you examined for competency by the Center for Forensic Psychiatry. See if you're restorable or able to be competent. but I'm not comfortable taking the plea because I don't believe you're competent.
You don't believe I'm
I'm
guilty is what you should say to me,
No,
sir.
I believe there's a highly likelihood that you're guilty, at least of some of this
No,
stuff.
I'm not actually. You're very
All right,
rude
well,
and you should lose your job.
the affidavits show you're on video and every one of these.
What you should do, Middleton. How
All
dare
right,
you?
bonds
Remember when you
remain the
called back to
same.
me last time? You were wrong. That's what you'll be.
Well, we had hoped, and again, we were just dumping the problem out on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had, we have Miss Anthony, we have Mr. Brown, we have Mr. Valentine, we have Mr. Oswald, we have another guy, the guy that thinks he owns a piece of real estate in the parking lot. They belong somewhere, but it isn't necessarily in jail, but she does continually get charged with stealing stuff. And she's not at all repentant, and she's not focused at all on what the deal is.
And Your Honor, I just like to say I had raised it prior, but the statute causes us defense counsel to be in an untenable position on misdemeanor cases with mentally ill clients, and it ought to be changed.
Well, we do have a felony resisting obstructing charge, but like Mr. Valentine, the misdemeanors will go as well. So we'll prepare an order for competency on all 3 retail frauds and the felony R&O charge. And I said it, I've watched, and you've seen it too. We watched her disintegration. And sometimes you think it's methamphetamine, but she's been in jail for 22 days and she's just as disorganized as she was when I saw her 22 days ago. I let her out of jail on the retail frauds because I could have kept her in. For good cause shown, you can exceed the 28-day rule regarding bond and a misdemeanor. But I let her out, and within a very short time, she got arrested again for this. And I suspect if I let her out right now, she'd get rearrested at a short time. We need a better plan other than putting them out on the front steps of the jail. And as we mentioned, and I mentioned in this letter, the jail staff aren't orderlies at a mental hospital. We're running the largest mental institution in St. Joe County at the St. Joe County Jail. There are 88 people in it, and about half of them need significant mental health treatment. And there are about 10 of them who are significantly mentally ill that need to be somewhere. The problem is there is no somewhere. There is no magic place to simply put people. But I'm not confident that she would have been competent to enter such a plea. And so, as you know, Mr. Truckee, then it means they end up in jail for months and months and months and months. A, taking a jail bed. B, not getting any treatment. You'll get this letter that I'm writing where I'm asking Pivotal, who's taken over our jail diversion as of October 1st, to focus on these defendants. There's going to be 8 of them. And one option would be to pursue a commitment and hospitalization short of competency. And we agree she needs competency, but it takes so long to do it.
Well, and it's not right to have somebody ultimately in for retail fraud.
For 400.
To wait to see if they're competent, plead to something. That's just not America. You don't do that to somebody.
You can exceed your maximum sentence waiting to be competent.
Correct.
And that's
So, and at some point, there's pressure on me to say it's not, they're not equal.
Well, and they're not, but let's say, as we talked about Miss Anthony the other day, or Mr. Brown, I just let them out. Well, then what? She's psychotic and she's standing on the front steps of the jail without a penny in her pocket. We need to have some sort of exit strategy for these people.
I would like to throw a wrench in the next case.
All right, well, let's finish with Ms. Conway. We're gonna get a competency evaluation in all those
It
cases.
is my understanding that they have more vets for ladies now.
Then Ben,
And if they're in custody,
they get priority status.
with their evaluation, because they know where they're at.
Now, there's 2 civil infractions still out there. We'll leave those on. Sturgis may simply to dismiss, elect to dismiss those. All right, I was hopeful, but if anything, I think she's gone downhill since the last time I saw her. Dina from the clerk's office had her bike stolen from here at the courthouse, and Dick Meddy found it in Three Rivers. He found it on the street, brought it back. Only it wasn't her bike. So I told him we're gonna charge him with bicycle theft.